Guys, welcome to Get It Done Publishing, where we talk about books, business, and branding for writers. I'm your host, Ashley M. King, and in today's video, we're going to talk about how to write a book in 7 steps. But before we jump in today's topic, please make sure you hit the subscription button and make sure you like, comment. Any support is greatly appreciated. All right, so the first step that I have for you into becoming a successfully published author is to make sure you do your research to find a target audience, right? A lot of times I will have a discovery session or a consultation with an author and they're just like, my book is for women. Who specifically for women? You know, women of a younger age, perhaps they just graduated from high school, they're in college, or women who are mothers, or women who their kids are out of the house in college and now they are on the verge of retiring. You know, what income bracket, like where are they in their life? What specifically are they going to get for your book, from your book? So, and what, you know, what's the topic, etc. You want to make sure that there is a demand for your book. So first and foremost, do your research. And if you find that there isn't many books or any book out there at all pertaining to the subject matter or the industry that you want to write in, maybe it's too niche that no one is looking for it, right? So it's great to be niche, to niche down, to be, you know, specific, but if by chance you are the first person to write a book in that particular subject, then maybe there isn't a need for it, right? So definitely do your research to make sure there is a demand for your particular topic for your book. All right, number 2. Next, once you find that there is a target audience, a demand for your book, you want to go ahead and create your outline. So one of the process that I do is called book mapping, right? If someone was to book what I call a table of content session with me, then I will send them a questionnaire. They will put everything that they desire to write in their book. I tell them, do not hold back. Use this as a dumping ground to pour out your life story, right? Whatever you want in this book. Then I do my work and I fill through all of that information to determine what is best to go in this book. Maybe the particular subject that you want as a chapter, maybe that should be just information within there, or maybe something should be a chapter. Maybe some of the stuff that you want to include in this particular book may not need to go in this one. Maybe it's enough content to create a second one. So that is my job, to shift through all of that information that you dumped in the questionnaire, to get it organized, to shuffle through it, and to figure out the flow of your book, whether it's fiction or nonfiction. And generally, you know, for nonfiction books, right, if you remember grade school, kind of creating one of your basic outlines will help. Even though I say outline, mine are very detailed. I did a video about series Bible and talking about how you should, you know, the different information you should include in your characters, the location, etc. That information is also important to include in your outline. So just to let you know, besides the basic, chapter 1, we talk about this, chapter 2, we talk about this, you want to be very detailed when you create your outline. And when I create my outline, that pretty much lets me know about how many chapters I am going to have in my book, which is, I think, important for number 3. You want to use that outline to create your writing schedule based on your publication deadline. So, and what I mean about that, let's just say for simple math that your outline comes up to 10 chapters. Excuse me. Ooh. Your outline comes up to 10 chapters. So in essence, if by chance you want your book to be out within the next 5 months that you start, if you set a goal to write a chapter a week, that is 10 weeks. So that's roughly 2.5 months, right? So 2.5 months. So you're halfway through, and that gives you another 2.5 months to get that book edited, format, get the book cover design, make sure everything is correct and in order before you upload and publish your book. If you do not have a self-publishing strategist like myself, or you're not aware of the process and you're trying to do this solo, I would perhaps give yourself more than 5 months, maybe 7, because after you get the book written on your end, the next step is to get it professionally edited. Guys, I know you want to save as much money as possible, but what is hurting you all in the long run is when you write the book yourself, publish it yourself, do the book cover yourself. Now, if you're not a professional book designer, like in the particular industry, not that you are a designer, but a book designer, do not, or editor, etc., do not try to do this stuff yourself. Even though I edit books, I actually have someone else to edit my book, because as many times I've sat there and written that chapter, I know what it should say in my head. So sometimes I could have the tendency to kind of read what is not there. So even after I've gone through and written my stuff, I'm going to send it over to an editor. Like, I preach, I believe in what I preach. So I don't edit my own books. I send it out to someone else to edit, even though I'm an editor. So I highly recommend you to invest your money into getting it professionally edited, professionally done, but at least professionally edited, because let's just say someone goes and purchases your book. You at least create a decent book cover. They purchase it off of Amazon. The summary or the synopsis looks enticing, but when they get that book and they got typos all over it, like, that's a bad review. You're not going to have a repeat buyer. If they leave a review, it's not going to be positive. And I know some people believe in, a review, I guess a bad review is better than a good review. Whatever. Do your job and invest in your baby, your book, and get it professionally edited, right? So that was step number 4, just to make sure I'm not losing you. Number 1 was to make sure that there is a audience, a demand for your book. Number 2 is to create that outline. Number 3 is to create a writing schedule based on your outline, also taking into accountability of your publishing deadline. If you do not already have a team in place, I recommend that you give yourself more time, right? Because you're trying to figure out and do things on your own. You may be, going through all these YouTube videos and just trying to learn, versus hiring someone that already knows what to do to lessen the time, to make sure that your book is professionally presented to the world, that it can compete with traditional published books. So make sure you give yourself ample time. Number 4 is to get your book professionally edited. Invest in professional editing services. You can holler at your girl if you're interested, but make sure you invest in professional editing services. Number 5 is to format your book. All right, so format includes like the layout, the typography, determining if it's 5 by 8, 6 by 9, 7 by 7, 10 by 10, etc. If you're going to have design and images in your book, that's part of like the layout process. So you want to invest in this as well. Now, there are software out there that you can use to lay out your book. One of the ones I use is Vellum, and I learned the hard way that unless some changes have made, Vellum isn't the greatest in doing like journals. It is good if you're just doing like Word, like a basic Word layout, not so much of designs. And then I think even like Amazon's KDP have, a layout, a formatting software for free. So there are some free resources out there, but once again, if you are looking for a well-polished look, maybe you're wanting drop cases, some scripts, some, nice little, I want to say page breakers, but I can't think of fluons, some nice fluons in your book, different designs that's really going to set your book apart, that's really going to have your reader engaged and really like amazed about the quality, then I would recommend investing in your formatting as well. The next step is 6, your book cover, right? You want to work on your book cover. I am smiling but kind of screaming on the inside because I've come across so many people that will perhaps hire someone off Fiverr, or maybe they know someone that makes some really bomb like flyers, like event flyers, and then they're like, okay, cool, you really know how to do design, so I want you to design my book. And they may do a really nice design, like, oh my gosh, this is really nice, like, oh, I wouldn't mind using them. But when it comes time to try to upload this book or make sure I have all the information, one, the book cover is not properly done. Some people will get the book cover done before the book is formatted. And unless you have a relationship with the book designer or actually have the source file, and the source file is just not PDF. It's PSD, INDD, depending on the software. It's not a PDF, because I have the source file as a PDF. No, I can't really do too much with that, okay? It's not properly formatted. It's not properly formatted, the book cover, because they would get the book cover designed first and then they would go format the book. The book is 100 pages formatted for a 5x8. The person who designed the book made it 8x5x11 formatted for 50 pages. That is not going to work. And I have encountered that so many times. One, the author doesn't even know what size the book is. 2, they don't have the source file. 3, they probably don't even have a relationship with this person anymore or a way to get in contact with them. So I'm like, well, if you really want to use this particular book cover, then we would need to reformat the book to meet the requirements of that book cover. And we've had to do that before. But then come to find out, or we recommended it, and then come to find out the particular platform that they wanted to use doesn't use the book cover size that they got designed. So it can be much of a headache when you do not use professional services. Now, I am not against you using Fiverr at all or some freelance service, but if you do not know how to professionally vet these people, if you do not know what to look for, what should be on there, then you more than likely may, get something and it looks beautiful. You think it's going to work until it comes time to upload your book and it doesn't, right? So just be mindful of that. I highly recommend you get the book formatted first and then get the book cover, like the full front, back, and spine, because sometimes I get a front, back, there is no spine. That doesn't work. Generally, the back side of your book is going to have, like, at top, the book summary, your author bio, and a professional headshot. There are some instances in which a professional or headshot period is not recommended. You don't need one on a book, but I do at least recommend the book summary to be on there. And if you want to have, the author bio, depending on the type of book that it is. And also formatting, perhaps even the layout, you want to make sure you have a copyright page. I get that quite sometimes there's no copyright page in the book, period. God bless America. And then the last but not least, step number 7 is to publish and distribute your book. All right. And so the reason why I say publish and distribute, because those are 2 separate things. You can literally type up a document on Word, print it out, go, at home, staple it. You have technically published a book. You can offer it for sale on your own website, at a vending event, whatever. You've published a book. But when you distribute it or distribute your book, that is when you use your website, use Amazon, Ingram, all the different draft to digital, all the different platforms that are out there for you to distribute your book. These are what we call aggregators. They, the hub to put your book out there. So the 7 steps to recap. Number 1 is figure out if there's a demand for your book. Number 2, you're going to create your outline. Number 3, you're going to use that outline to create your writing schedule based on your publication date. 4, get your book professionally edited. 5, we're going to format that book. 6, get the book cover professionally designed. And then number 7, we're going to publish and distribute your book. And you may be thinking, hey, Ashley, when do I market my book in this process? Because you did not talk about marketing. You can market your book as soon as you figure out there's an audience for it. I've known authors that have sold their book before they even start writing. I have sold copies of my book before, let's see, I was in the writing phase. So it was not finished. So you can start promoting and marketing your book before you even pick up a pen to write or type a letter on the keyboard. You're like, how? I know, there's methods to doing that, and it's very possible of how to sell your book before you even start writing. But the thing is, are you going to be accountable to those pre-orders of people who've purchased your book before you start writing? Because once you have made that a sale, you want to make sure that you're going to be committed to getting your book out by the time you have told the buyer that your book is going to be available, right? You need to be committed to that time frame. All right. So I thank y'all so much for tuning in. Once again, my name is Ashley M. King with Get It Done Publishing, where we talk about books, business, and branding for writers. Please make sure that you subscribe to our channel for more information. Turn on your notifications. And I thank y'all so much. And I look forward to seeing you on the other side as a published author.